I'm in my early 60s now, and it took me more than 30 years to really understand what I'm about to share with you. Not because the information wasn't available, but because I wasn't ready to hear it. At the time, I truly believed I knew better. I thought I was doing enough. I thought the small issues didn't matter. Looking back, that mindset alone cost me years. I've been through more health problems than I care to admit. Pain, stiffness, fatigue, balance issues, things that didn't seem serious at first, but slowly added up. What surprises most people is this. None of it started suddenly. There was no dramatic moment, no single injury. It was a series of small mistakes repeated for years that quietly changed how my body works. So in this video, I want to walk you through the biggest one. Not to scare you, but so you don't have to learn the hard way like I did. If you're open to hearing this, it can save you a lot of frustration down the road. One of the biggest mistakes I made was thinking the solution was always to add something. If I didn't feel good, I looked for something to take. A supplement, a pill, something natural. At one point, I was taking an absurd amount of supplements every single day. Not just a few vitamins, bottles of them. I genuinely believed that if I just found the right one, everything would improve. I remember going into health stores over and over again, hoping someone there would have the answer. I'd walk out with bags full of supplements, convinced this time would be different, but nothing really changed. I still felt tired. I still felt stiff. I still felt off. What I didn't understand back then was that supplements don't fix a broken foundation. They only support what's already working. My diet wasn't good. My movement was inconsistent. My sleep was poor. And I was trying to compensate for all of that with pills. Looking back, that approach didn't just waste money. It delayed real progress. I wasn't addressing the basics. I was trying to shortcut them. And the body doesn't work that way. Another mistake I made was telling myself I would fix things later. I kept saying I'd focus on my health when life slowed down. After this phase, after this responsibility, after I had more time, at the time, that felt reasonable. I wasn't sick. I wasn't disabled. I could still get through my day. So I assumed nothing urgent was happening, but the body doesn't wait for the right moment. While I was postponing, small changes were already taking place. I was sitting more, moving less, choosing convenience without thinking about the cost. Nothing dramatic happened. That's why I ignored it. What I didn't realize was that independence is something you practice, and when you stop practicing it, it slowly disappears. Standing up became a little slower. Balance felt a little less automatic. I started hesitating before certain movement. I didn't see these as warnings. I saw them as normal. Looking back, those were the years that mattered most. Not because things were bad, but because they were quietly drifting in the wrong direction. Waiting felt harmless. It wasn't. Another mistake I made was avoiding discomfort instead of understanding it. Anytime something hurt, my instinct was to protect it. Sit more, move around it, stop doing whatever caused it. That felt logical. What I didn't understand was that pain isn't always damage. Very often, it's confusion. When you consistently avoid movement, the nervous system doesn't recover. It becomes cautious. And a cautious system doesn't get stronger. It gets smaller. I had areas that felt tight all the time. Hips, lower back, sometimes my knees, nothing severe, just enough to change how I move. Over time, I stopped trusting certain motions. Not consciously, automatically. That's when confidence started to disappear. I didn't feel weak, I felt unsure. And once your body feels unsure, it starts choosing safety over ability. That choice happens quietly, but it has long-term consequences. Avoidance felt tech. In reality, it was teaching my body climb. Another mistake I made was believing that health required effort that felt impressive. I thought if I was going to do something, it had to be hard. Long workouts, intense routines, big changes. So I'd push myself for a short period of time, then stop. Weeks, sometimes months. I didn't realize back then that the body doesn't respond to intensity the way people think it does. It responds to pattern. Those long gaps mattered more than the effort itself. 5 minutes every day would have done more for me than one hard workout, followed by long stretches of nothing. But consistency didn't feel meaningful. It didn't feel like progress, so I ignored it. Over time, my nervous system adapted to inconsistency. Movement became something temporary instead of normal. That's when stability starts to slip. Not because the body can't do the work, but because it's no longer used to being asked. Intensity made me feel productive. Consistency would have kept me capable. Another mistake I made was brushing off sleep problems as normal. I told myself everyone sleeps poorly, that it was just stress or age or something I had to live with, so I ignored it. What I didn't understand at the time was how deeply sleep affects coordination, balance, and reaction time. Lack of sleep doesn't just make you tired, it makes your body feel unsafe. When you're sleep deprived, your nervous system becomes less precise. Movements feel heavier, balance feels uncertain, and the body responds by tightening up. I noticed I was stiffer in the mornings, more cautious during the day, less willing to move freely. I didn't connect those dots. I treated sleep like a comfort issue, not a neurological one. That was a mistake. Without proper recovery, the body never fully resets. And over time, that constant state of tension chips away at confidence. I wasn't just tired, my body was struggling to trust itself. Another mistake I made was underestimating how much sitting changes the body. I didn't see it as a problem at first. I was productive, I was busy, I was getting things done. So sitting felt harmless. balance. What I didn't realize was how quickly the body adapts to the position it spends the most time in. My hips became tight, my glutes weakened, blood flow to my legs slowed down. That didn't just affect posture, it affected how stable I felt when I stood up. Standing became slower. The first few steps felt uncertain. Again, nothing dramatic, just small changes that slowly became normal. The body practices what you repeat, and I was practicing stillness far more than movement. Over time, my nervous system stopped expecting regular movement, so when I did move, it felt unfamiliar. That unfamiliarity creates hesitation, and hesitation changes everything. The biggest mistake I made was believing decline was inevitable. Once I accepted that idea, my body did too. I started thinking, this is just how it is now. This is part of getting older. That belief is powerful. When the brain accepts decline, it stops fighting for function. It adapts downward. What I didn't understand back then was that the nervous system is adaptable at any age. It responds to what you repeatedly show it. When I finally changed my approach, nothing dramatic happened overnight. There was no breakthrough moment. I simply started doing the basics every day, standing more, walking regularly, challenging balance gently, moving even when it felt slightly uncomfortable, but safe. And something unexpected happened. My body didn't just get stronger, it got calmer. Movements felt automatic again. Confidence returned before strength did. That's when I realized the problem was never age, it was avoidance. The body doesn't need to be pushed to extremes. It needs to be reminded that it's still capable. If you're hearing this and recognizing yourself, don't wait. You don't need perfection. You don't need intensity. You need consistency. If this helped you see your health differently, subscribe to this channel. I share practical, evidence-based guidance focused on keeping your independence as long as possible. Like this video so more people can find it. And leave a comment if you want me to show you the simple daily movements that help the body rebuild confidence, balance, and control.